Welcome to the KMC Collective podcast, where Tom, Ben, and Cole bring you practical insights, creative ideas, and authentic conversations for children's ministry leaders. Each conversation is packed with strategies to help you lead with clarity, build strong teams, nurture families, and stay healthy in the process. Whether you're planning lessons, training volunteers, or seeking encouragement for the week ahead, this podcast is for you. We hope to make you laugh, cry, think, and maybe a bit of all three in each of our weekly conversations. This is the KMC Collective Podcast. Let's jump into the conversation.
And welcome to the KMC Collective Podcast. I'm Tom.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, we are so glad you're with us today. We are talking all about our listeners, not our volunteers. Get out of Sunday morning mode. Talking about our listeners. A couple weeks ago on the KMC part, the Kidmin Plus, we asked the questions. What are some of the biggest questions if you were going into kids ministry that you needed answers? And we have a list. And so tonight we are going to jump in and start a conversation about some of your questions. So
Be good.
Tommy, you want to kick us off?
All right. Yeah. Now, I will say, we don't know what questions each other are going to pop up at each other.
We don't know that.
This is going to be fun. But there were some really good questions. And I thought, okay, what's one right out of the gate that we can get into? And I would love to know from you guys. Somebody asked the question, how do I get my church family on board to really loving our kids ministry?
Starting with a heater there, Tom.
I was going to straight throwing a curveball in there. Thought maybe we talk about budgets first, but no, let's talk about.
So your question is, how do we get your church leadership to like the kids?
The church family. How do we get the church family on board to really love and support the kids ministry?
That's a good one.
So, yeah, it is. I could give you a couple pointers that I've noticed to get people more engaged with it. As when you've got good stories, whether it's baptisms, kids coming to Christ, a cool event like a trunk or treat or jingle jam or whatever you're trying to do tell a story, whether it's on social media, via the email, like a parent newsletter, things like that. Basically get it out to the parents in some way so that they can be a part of the fun stuff. I know like for us, like Jingle Jam, we do our Christmas event every year. And a couple of years ago, there was an event where the kids, we were on a ship, quote unquote. We were actually on stage, but I had parents eating a Christmas dinner, ice cold, like straight from the can, straight from like lunch meat, all that type of stuff. But it was turkey, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes that were they were cooked, but then I let them sit out for about an hour. Ooh. And then, so I asked these parents blind if they would help me with the game. I asked a couple of my friends, like a couple of my dad friends. I was like, hey, would you just jump in and be a part of this game? Let's do that. Let's just say I got a couple of dirty looks afterwards, literally and figuratively, because they were covered in mashed potatoes in their beards and cranberry sauce. But the cool thing is because of those yeses and without having like an idea of what we're doing, they are more involved now than they were before because they were a part of the bigger picture. They got to see everything happened that night. And then now they're like, hey, asking me questions. Hey, what's going on with this? When this thing happens, what kind of stories are happening in my kids' small groups? And so for me, it's inviting families and inviting parents to be a part of the stories that are happening in your ministry.
I mean, that's really conservative of you, Cole. I like the way that you're bringing people involved. But for me, I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to be the rebel children's pastor here and say, let's give them something to talk about. Church is going down. They just prayed. The pastor steps up. I don't know how close your kids' hallway is to the auditorium, but the parents, the church, they need to hear the fun happening. And I'm not against singing to the top of our lungs screaming, having a good time, getting the kids to like, are you having a good time? Crying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we interrupted your sermon because we're talking about how much fun church is. So I'm going to go rebel with this one and say, let's
Wow.
give them something to talk about. In fact, start in the hallway. People that never, ever come to your kids' area because they're older. I've done that. I've checked
Mhm.
off that card years ago. I'm a grandma or grandpa now. Well, guess what? When you see kids walking past you in the hallway and there's a guy dressed up like a circus master, like or a mascot, or somebody dressed up in a
Yeah.
tie-dye t-shirt because they're excited to be there, and kids passing by that person all of a sudden light up. Like, take children's ministry to the hallway and just start interacting with families. The next thing is give them something to talk about when they're like the kid can't stop talking about their church time at home. And then parents like, man, my kids love Sunday. And then when they come to get picked up, they don't want to go home. These are the moments that
Mhm.
say you're missing out on an opportunity to be a part of something that your kid is in love with. And so for me, it's give them something to talk about on a Sunday morning, but give the adults that don't want to be anywhere near your hallway something to talk about. Because if they're going to yell, the kids are too loud, or they're yelling all the time, it's
Yeah.
because, man, our children's ministry programming is exciting and kids are coming and they're having a good time. And so, yeah, I like to, let's sing a song um, and just get loud. And we do it for Jesus, and it's
I love it.
on purpose so that parents be like, "Man, we heard you guys all the way down the hallway." Yep. Check mark. That's mine for you, Tom.
All right. All right. Not bad, guys. Not bad. Wow.
Mhm.
So for me though, like I saw a couple of questions, and one of those that are super hot topic right now, and all these Facebook groups I'm seeing, I've got to plan this fall event, right? And every church is doing something. And I don't want to be like the church next door. Or so what can we do? And so I'm thinking, man, what is some creative moments, some creative things that you've seen, whether or not you've done it before, um, or not. My question would be like, what have you seen out there? Let's throw it out there because some people just maybe Google's not helping, but I know I've been around for 20 plus years in ministry and I've seen a lot of different fun stuff. And of course, I like making sounds in the hallway. So like, let's throw it out there because I know some of our listeners are in the process of trying to figure it out last minute because October, November is right around the corner. What's it got?
It is. So what I'm thinking when you were talking about that, now it just depends on your church size. You can do it at any church size. We did this like fall family fest. So instead of doing trunk or treat, which my church does a trunk or treat at my current church, and we love it, and it's great, and it's great for the community. But the first church I worked at, we did this giant fall family event, and we were lucky enough to have a pretty giant church, and so we had movies playing in a sanctuary. We had bounce houses outside the sanctuary for the preschoolers. And then we used our gym and we had inflatable bumper cars. Now, again, it depends on your size and your budget. Inflatable bumper cars, huge bounce houses and bounce slides and all that type of stuff, and games and activities for the kids. I know there's a pumpkin carving contest, all that type of stuff. And
Cool.
those are all like little cool things that you can add to your fall event. Um, we also had, I'm trying to think what other stuff we had. It was early enough in the year, it was still warm out. I know there was a couple of water games that happened out back. We just had like a water balloon fight happened and stuff like that. We had cotton candy machine. We had pixie stick. You could make your own pixie sticks, which
There you go.
is crazy. You just sugar them up and send them home.
Yeah,
But
man.
like literally.
Delicious.
Sugar them
But,
up, send them home.
and And I remember one year we actually rented a climbing rock wall
Oh
with
yeah.
like it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, depends on your budget,
Yep.
depends on your size, but you really don't have to put like, just because it's a fall themed event, it could just be fall because it's happening at fall. You don't have to like limit it to like, it has to have pumpkins and, stuff like that.
Yep.
You could do those things, but at the same time, creating an environment where families and kids can come together and just have a good time, totally free. They can just a safe place where they can just kind of let loose and have a good time on a weekend or a later in the week night, stuff like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was thinking as you guys were talking and Ben's framing that question, there's two routes you can go on. Yeah, you can keep it on campus, and I know a church that does Pumpkin Sunday, and they create a huge pumpkin patch for the kids. So every kid goes out after service and picks out their own pumpkin. They've got yard games. They bring in a couple food trucks, and they make it an outside event for. And that's great if you've got the weather and and you've got the space to do something like that. But here's what I'd like to throw out to people. Instead of doing the normal trunk or treat or the pumpkin giveaway thing, go find what your community is doing. One of the best things our church ever did was our church or our community had this 1-day street event in the fall for families to come. And they invited all sorts of social groups to come in, the scout troops and different things came in. And basically they blocked off this one side street for about 4.5 hours. And our church went in with a bunch of tents. We had some games. We had some face painting. We had some balloon animal people. We actually did, it was called Sandy Candy. And so we did these little tubes that you could do the wordless book colors. The candy came in the colors of the wordless book. And they actually sold them in the stickers that came with these test tubes. So the kids actually went through, and we had somebody sharing the gospel as the kids were packing their little
That's
Sandy
really cool.
tube treat. I don't know if that company's still in existence, but it was called Sandy Candy, and it was really cool. But we set up we joined the community doing a 1-day street fair, passing out information about our upcoming family series that we were going to do for the fall kickoff. I think our Awana program was starting to kick off on Wednesday night. So if the people were looking for a kids club for their kids, we had basketball league going for the kids. So we promoted all these different things that our church was doing for families, a parenting workshop. But we got into the street and we did that, and we saw it took us about 2 years to really get traction. But after that second year and going into the third year, we saw families coming to our church because we were there on that 1-day street fair, that Fall Fest day. Being a part of it, I actually joined the committee to organize it, which gave me an inroad to really invite other churches to get a part of it. And so I would say if you're thinking about doing something and you're wanting something different, look at what your community is doing and take your church to them. Go for it.
No, I asked that question because one of my coaching sessions this week with a small church, was like, I don't have many people to pull off a trunk or treat, but we literally have a church right across the street from an elementary school, 1 block away from a high school. How can we, as a small church, like, do something? Like, and so I'm like, what is your goal? Well, then you ask what the goal is. All right. So you have perfect opportunity right across the street from a school. You're in a community with tons of families, whatever that is. How, with the people that you have, whether they're older and they can't get out, but the older people can purchase candy, utilize and think, okay, who do you have? How can you utilize the people that you have to be able to, do something like that? And at the end of the day, you can literally park it right outside of right across the street, have somebody hold a sign that says free candy. They drive through the parking lot, get a bag, you introduce yourself, and in that bag is an invitation to come to an event, come to the children's program, and somebody at the exit waving at them goodbye. It literally could be done with 3 people, but you're just and this is what I told them: you're present.
Mhm.
Be present, whether you're in the city event, whether you're right across the street, you're in your community, whether you're handing out water bottles to people with an invitation on it as they're coming into your neighborhood or your apartment complex, whatever it is, as a church, just be present. And so that's kind of what I gave them. And honestly, I think as a church, you just got to figure out, okay, what's your goal in it? People are like, well, everybody's doing it. That's not a good excuse. What is a good excuse is, loving on people and being
Mhm.
present where they're at. And it could just be sitting outside with an invitation outside your house, passing it out as kids come to your house. Whatever you got to do, just be present. So that was a good question that I saw, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep running with that one.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. So
Cole.
my question, kind of in the same vein as yours. And I was thinking, what about, like, how often do you guys plan special events in your kids' ministry? Are you doing it quarterly? Are you doing it monthly? Are you doing just kids? Are you doing families? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
Um, honestly, I am one that advocates for, I think we need to get back to being simple. And I would challenge people, are you doing too much? Are you trying to do too much? We tend to burn out volunteers because we're doing stuff too often. We feel like we have to. And
Mhm.
I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have to run. And if you do once a quarter, that's plenty. But I see churches that are doing stuff every month. They got something going, and some of it's big stuff. I mean, on top of Sundays already, which is huge.
Mhm.
And I know some of our listeners are going, yeah, convince my senior pastor of that. Um, I was working with a leader recently, and they were, man, I love my pastor. I love his vision for reaching the lost, but he's exhausting me. Because we just get done with one thing and boom,
Mhm.
we're into the next.
To the next.
And it's like, how do I breathe? How does my team breathe? Because it's always, well, the kids ministry can do this and the kids ministry can do that. And I'm hearing amens from all over the country and around the world. And so if you happen
Amen.
to be a senior leader, or maybe you need to give this to your senior leader, let me talk to them, because I've been one. Stop it. Just stop. Okay? I'm telling you, with all the love of Jesus in my heart, stop it. You don't have to fill your calendar. That is not the way you hear, well done, good and faithful servant. All right.
I'm gonna slightly calm you down and tell you I kind of disagree with you a little bit.
Very good,
And maybe this will calm you down a little bit or make you even more heated. Take a second, count to 10, listen to what I had to say. I honestly think events represent your presence in the life of a kid. It says, hey, I see you. I want you to have a good time. I don't say fill up your calendar. I go to a church right now that literally has 4 things every month. Every week is a different theme. Every week is a different opportunity to, we're going to build sandcastles this week. We're going to do this week. We're going to do this. That's a lot. And I agree. Like, if you got the time, if that's your full-time job, dude, man, champion that. Do it. What I do think is so important is a kid needs to be seen. And how do you see a kid? You celebrate. There's things in a kid's life that are super important. And as a church, you need to be on that. So, like, birthdays are huge. So you celebrate a birthday in the life of a kid, whether you're sending them a postcard, you're giving them an opportunity to celebrate at church, being
Yeah.
recognized at
But
church.
see, those
It's a
aren't,
big deal.
those aren't events.
I know you're
so
talking about
you're the question though was on planning special events.
special events.
So I'm
I
with
think
you.
Ben
I'm
really
with you
more
on
though.
showing up in the life of a child, being at the public schools and going to their events and
tournament
showing up at their
events.
dramas.
Yeah.
But if you're
Make
doing
them
all
special.
yeah,
That's
well,
what Ben's
but
saying.
that's different than a special event, because I think most leaders, when they hear special event, are thinking the big events,
Yeah.
Bible
Mhm,
school and Easter and Pumpkin Sunday and all the, and people are
Sunday.
too overwhelmed with all that stuff. And that's what I'm saying we got to slow our roll on. I'm with you, Ben, on
So
sending out
then in
cards,
that
showing up
case,
at school,
yeah.
but you can't do that if you're constantly
another
doing
event.
big event after big event
Yeah.
after big event.
At the
That's
church
where I
I was
push
at,
back.
the church I just came from, I was pushed back from leadership saying, if you're not doing something, they don't think we're doing anything.
Right.
So I came up with 4. If we're going to not celebrate a kid, we're just going to talk, let's call these evangelistic opportunities, events. You got summer event, you got a fall event, you got a beginning of like January, February, like school, welcome back to school event, whatever that is. Like we did a quarterly evangelistic thing. So a big family, January, new year, new opportunity, a big family event, boom. Then we had spring, we had summer, we had fall, and it would be
filling up.
and it was just 4. So, but it was these are the 4 opportunities we have to do an outreach. Then we fill up the other part of the calendar with celebrations, such as we celebrate birthdays, we celebrate baptism, we celebrate welcome back to school. We do this, and those could be events. Those could be, hey, we're going to have everybody with the month of August birthday on Saturday. We're doing a big birthday party for everybody, and they're inviting their whole family. So, like, we would do birthday party events. We would do once a month baptism events. And these are because those are celebratory things in the life of a kid, and we wanted to be a part of it as a church. But if you're talking evangelistic or opportunity to outreach, we stuck to 4. That was my rule. That was our rule. And I made a deal with the pastor, and he was cool with that. So we survived. It wasn't too bad. I also had a staff that could help me, but the thing is, you got to think, okay, what is your goal? Why are you doing this event? You're doing an event just to do it, you're wasting your time. If you're doing your event to actually grow ministry, evangelize, or whatever that is, then, strategery. Is that a word?
Strategery.
Yeah.
No, the reason I asked is because I am deep in the heart of planning next year, budgets and all that type of stuff. And it was one of the questions, but every year I've tried to force an event at like Easter time, and every year, and this is what I've learned. I've been in my place 6 years. It's also not just doing an event to do an event. It's picking the ups and downs, what your area, your community, all that type of stuff, what that is. And my community in March, April, May is let's get done with school, let's get ready to go on vacation, and they all just flop. Besides Sunday morning Easter stuff, planning a separate event outside of Sunday morning, my communities does not want to do anything. And so we have skipped the Easter extras, but we still do like the trunk or treat, the fall event. I do some Sunday events like Pajama Sunday or like wear your favorite sports team, stuff like that, or, all that type of stuff. And we do a fall or kickoff type deal where we make a big deal about going back to school and all that type of stuff. But at one point I was trying to do 5 or 6 events a year. And I just learned that I need to work with the ebbs and flows of my community and what they can take. And so instead of trying to overload their calendar, because sports and all the other things that overload calendars, I just kind of worked with them, and they've kind of dictated what we do and how we do and when we do.
Yeah.
So
well, leaders have just got to pay attention. You got to read the room. And after COVID, parents made it very clear to the church, we don't need all your stuff. We don't need all these programs, because we went for a whole year without them. We did Bible school differently. We did the, egg hunts differently. We did, so I just want to challenge people to start thinking, why are we continuing? Because look, we're still working the church in a 1950s, 60s, 70s model. We're doing church the same exact way. And we're still doing the same old events. Bible school, summer camp, Christmas,
Yep.
Easter. Those are the big four that in a kids ministry world take a ton of time, a ton of energy, a ton of finances. And I'm going,
Ton of people.
and a ton of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Resources as human and financial, and physical. It's just, so I'm tired of watching leaders burn their teams out, burn themselves out. For what?
Mhm.
Because I don't think I think sometimes we're not as effective as we want to be or could be. And we're not honest with ourselves with that the ROI, the return of investment, is not there. We're not drawing families the way it could be done. So then we have to start going, okay, what if we did something different? What if we slimmed our calendar back and focused on doing a few things with such excellence that, like Ben said very early on in this episode, it gets them talking and keeps them talking.
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said, I think a couple episodes ago back, like bigger is not always better.
Yes.
You need to be
True.
consistent.
Yep.
And
Consistency.
so consistency.
Excellence.
Strategery.
Excellent.
Strategery and
Strategery, yeah.
consistency.
Strategery, consistency, excellence.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
There's our 3 takeaways from the podcast episode today. You need to
Right.
be strategery.
Consistency and excellency.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Write
There you
that
go.
down.
And simply,
write it down.
simply
Simply. Yeah,
consistent,
simplistic.
simply excellent, simply strategic. Strategery.
There you go. Strategery.
There we go.
I've learned a lot. New words.
There
And
we go.
keep
There
it
we
simple,
go.
stupid.
But I mean, I just feel like, we've got a lot of leaders out there that, whether you're in a small church, medium-sized church, big church,
Yeah.
we all
Mhm.
struggle with this. I think we all 3 can agree, right? That we all
Mhm.
have struggled with, and that's why these questions pop up. And what's going to be fun is we've got more. We're going to do another episode of questions leaders are asking us, because a bunch of people submitted these questions, and I want to see if we can't hit a few more in
Yeah.
a few episodes, because
Where
there's some good stuff.
Where can they give us their questions, Tom?
Yeah. Do you have more?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. You can either come to the Kid Ministry Collective Facebook group, and under this episode, you can put, hey, I've got a question that I want answered. We'll add it to our list. If you're part of the
Mhm.
KidMin Plus leadership community, you can come into the Plus and pop the question in there. In fact, we'll be doing a roundtable soon on this idea of, we're going to throw out some of the questions to the Plus leaders and say, how would you answer this question? Might even see if we could record some of that and bring it in. I don't know. That's probably
That'd be
way
good.
more tech savvy than I am, but
We had
But-
some new
We'll figure it
people
out, Tom.
joining. We had some
Yeah.
new people joining the Plus this week. which is
yes,
super
we
cool to
did.
see.
Yes, we did. And
So
we had
it's not
fun.
too late. You can jump in there for sure.
That's right. That's right. You can go to kidminplus.net. Come join us over there. We would love to have you. We'll be doing some live coaching. These guys will be offering some coaching. I'll have some coaching times in there. They'll be joining in the round table, hosting round tables. It's a lot of fun over there, and it's a small but growing community, and we would love to have you there. But if you're not in our Facebook group, come check us out and join the Facebook group. You can go to kidministrycollective.com and see all the things where you
Mhm.
can get a coach. If you need a coach, Cole and Ben are available for coaching. So am I. You can go and set up a clarity call and chat with one of us about and ask some of these questions. I don't mind during our 30-minute clarity call answering one question from the leader that's burning on their heart right now. So, set up a clarity call with one of us and let us help and serve you, because that's what we're all about. That's what makes the collective so amazing. So, all right, fellas, this has been
This
fun.
has been fun.
It's been good.
All right. Well, we've got more questions from the listeners, and we'll take more if you want to share them with us in the Plus or in the Facebook group. We'd love to have you. Again, guys, this is always going to be a great time. and we want you to join the conversation. So come join the conversation in the Plus or in the Facebook group. Let's keep the conversation rolling. How would you feel about special events, or how do you get your church on board with the family? Or yeah, we want to know.
We are better together. So
That's
let's
right.
do it.
Yes, 100%.
That's good. That should be on a t-shirt. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the KMC Collective Podcast. My friends, thanks for listening. If there's anything we can do for you, please reach out. Let us know. We're here to serve you. And stay tuned for another episode real soon coming at you.